Hey guys, Will here from Will of the Maker, checking in on my 3D printed business. Quick update, I'm having the best weekend I've had so far, at least online sales. Get into that in a minute and then I'll talk more about that in the next video, but because it's still going on, the craziness of this weekend. So I still have one more day, so I want to do a video once I'm finished with that. But anyways, quick update, I just had to do a repair on Bang Bang, as I call it right here, TD and Bang Bang. Basically the fitting for the Bowden tube inside the hot end where it holds the grips onto the hot end, cut the Bowden tube. So that was fun. I had to take apart the whole hot end and get to the back of it where that fitting can be taken out and get the piece out and back up and running, so that's good. But anyways, so if you saw my last video, I was doing some inventory of basically what I had left over from the Orlando Pen Show and what I hadn't sold online up until that point. For the reason of wanting to redo all my photography for the different colors of products that I have. Right now I have 16 color options, and that might grow, that might shrink. I have some more in the future that I already have ready to go, but I'm just holding off until I run out of some of the old stuff. We'll see how it kind of ends out in the future, but I have basically what at least I think I want to do in the future, print up and ready to go. And so I wanted to just redo all my photography in one go. That way it's as consistent as possible. I have my camera set up and we can just go ahead and get it done. And so basically I'm going to be turning my shipping station here into a makeshift photo booth. I actually did a test of this, of what I'm doing before. Actually, a magazine reached out to me and wanted to feature my products. And so I redid some photography really quickly and I just used a nice long roll of white easel paper for like an art easel, and just kind of rolled that up and had it propped up really ghetto fabulous, but it worked and the pictures came out amazing. Luckily how the lighting is set up in the garage here actually works out very well for product photography right here. Very lucky that that happened. That was not planned at all, but sometimes you just gotta roll with the luck you get, and yeah, so that's what I'm gonna do. So I'm going to basically get this whole thing set up. This is just a cheap photo set that I got off of Amazon. It comes with a black one as well and a stand. Can't remember the exact size, but I'll put a link down below if you're interested. One thing to note is that the sheets come folded and super creased, so I spent a long time with the steamer trying to get the wrinkles out as much as possible. So if you want to do this, give yourself some time to make sure you get this thing ironed or steamed or something to get the wrinkles out before you go and do the photo shoot. This will be my first time actually setting the stand up. I've never actually done it. The stand's still in the bag, so we'll figure this out together. Comes in this beautiful brown box. Assuming this is going to be fairly self-explanatory. This is open. Okay, so you can adjust height with this guy here. Clamp down the height there. That's solid. And then we take this off. Put these two poles together, just like that. Put that on here. It's funny. The sheet comes with a tube, folded over apart like a curtain. To slide this rod through here, but then you couldn't actually get the screw in, so because there's no cutout for there. But I guess that's why they have the clamps. So I guess you just fold it over and clamp it down. I don't know if one side is better. Looks like one's a little glossier. Maybe I'll go with the glossy side. Still a bit wrinkly, but smoothing this out will probably help. And maybe I'll get some clamps. Just clamp this down so it stays straight. And so basically, like that. So the idea is to do something kind of like this. Get some more clamps for the sides to really stretch it, but this is kind of what I did. So basically I have the core products, ink sample roulette, fountain pen roulette, double shot base, and the ink station here, all in one shot. That way I can basically just use the same pictures for every single product and not have a whole series of colors for this one, a whole series of colors for this one, a whole series of colors for this one, and so on. The amount of pictures that and work that leads to quickly adds up, and then it's just less and less consistent as you go. So I've done this before, it came out pretty good, so let's get to trying to get this done. Basically, I'm just trying to get this as smooth as possible, so that way I have less photoshopping of wrinkles to get rid of. It's not that hard to do, it's pretty quick, and especially now with the AI tools integrated in Photoshop, it's very, very easy compared to what it used to be, but always easier just to start out not needing to. And so this is the camera I'm using. Nothing special, it's actually pretty old. I think this is what, 13 or 14 years old at this point, Canon 6D. I've had it for a long time. Still works fine. The autofocus is honestly abysmal, but this is what I'm going to be using. This is an L lens. The red band just broke off at some point. I do have a polarizer on there just to adjust the glare as I feel will be right for the picture. And yeah, let's kind of walk through this. All right, so me and photography go back quite a ways. Basically since middle school, when I started getting into photography using old film cameras and developing in the darkroom, and then doing yearbook and things in high school. Still film cameras, still developing in the darkroom. My hands basically smelled like developer throughout high school, which probably explains a lot. But anyway, so I have a good understanding of how photography works. It's all about light. I think a lot of people kind of have the gist of that, but what that means and how to actually use it and how to set up your camera for what you're doing is important, and it changes based off of what you're doing. I see a lot of people who do their product photography, you know, they think they're doing a good job or whatever. They get a fast lens and they open it up. It's like a 2.8 aperture and zoom in and you get really nice shallow depth of field. But you might want in a portrait, you know, to really kind of get a lot of bokeh, background blur, so that the person that you're photographing is nice and crisp, but everything else is blurry. It really makes them pop. But if you do that for a product photo, most of your product's going to be blurry. You want the opposite. So if you're going to be using a DSLR or mirrorless camera or something where you really kind of adjust the aperture, you know, more professional-ish look camera, and not necessarily a cell phone. Cell phone is pretty easy to get everything in focus because the sensor is so small. But with these guys, this is a full frame camera, it's got a big sensor. It's very easy to get that shallow depth of field, which is great in a lot of cases, but not always. And so when you're doing product photography, you want as much of it as possible in focus. So with product photography, you really want to close down your aperture as much as reasonable. For this, I probably, and if I use the same settings as I did before, I was at a 15th of a second exposure time, f13, so all the depth of field that I need. So I don't have to do any focus stacking or any nonsense like that. And then I have an ISO of 1600. You really don't want to make sure you don't nudge the camera or tap the camera or shake the camera when you're taking these pictures, even on a tripod. Even just pressing the shutter can actually cause a little bit of a blur if you're not too careful. And especially with these slow shutter speeds like I'm doing, 15th of a second is like that. But in photography, it's actually very, very slow. You know, a 60th of a second, so a fourth of that is like the bare minimum handheld, typically speaking, to get a decent crisp shot. Faster than that, the better. But because I'm on a tripod, I'm doing product photos, I'm not worried about that. I'm not worried about handheld, but I do need it to be as crisp as possible. And so I'm going to get this set up, and I have a timer on this so that it can kind of settle itself after I take the picture, and check it out. So let's get to this. Okay, so this is kind of what I'm looking at here. I think it's looking pretty good. Couple notes. One thing, if your lens does have image stabilization and you're on a tripod, turn this off. At least when this camera was made, when I was more into photography than I am now, it would actually look for shake, and if there was nothing, it might actually introduce it. So I would be on a tripod and get blurry photos, and that was why. I'm gonna leave everything in manual focus so I don't have to worry about it. And then the last thing is there's a tiny little button, actually on the other side. There's a tiny little button down here, right here. You can't see it, different on every camera, but this is the aperture setting. You can kind of hear that sound. Basically, what that does, if you're in preview mode, it opens the lens all the way up so you can get as much light as possible, but you're not quite sure, but it's at f4 instead of say f13, and so part of it might be a little bit blurry. But if you can see that's kind of blurry there, hopefully. If I press that, it actually gets in focus. I'm not sure if that's coming up on camera or not, but that's how it works. All right, so I'm pretty happy with the setup here. It's looking pretty good. I got my camera mounted hard on the tripod. There's a 2-second delay on it. This is looking good. Wrinkles are more or less limited. And so one thing I'm going to be doing throughout this is try not to change any setting on the camera. That way every picture is as consistent as possible. So when I do go and I open up the raw files and make any tweaks, I can apply that across the board, and they should be as true to life and accurate as possible, especially relative to each other. Everybody's screen renders colors slightly different, so it's kind of hard to get a perfect color representation, but at least if you get very, very close and then have it be consistently, the same way is pretty good. So that's my goal. All right, so that took a little bit longer than I was expecting. It's now 1:10 in the morning. I was hoping to get done in about half that amount of time, but it is what it is. Anyways, I'm happy with the results. I think they're gonna look great. I'm gonna get them loaded up on the computer very soon and start going through them and editing them all together and make sure that they look all top notch so that I can then replace all my photography on my website and make it look a lot better. So I tried recording this a couple times in Adobe Camera Raw, but for some reason it doesn't record the pop-up. But nevertheless, I basically just opened up all the raw files of all the colors I wanted to edit at once. I edited one, just all the colors, the contrast, everything like that. And then I synced all so that all those settings would go across the board. And that basically made it a pretty uniform look to all the pictures, which would help create that consistency for the website. So once I got the colors done, I started going through the pictures and editing kind of what needed to be done, trying to take out wrinkles in the fabric in the background and any dust or anything that was on the product. I'm not trying to hide any 3D printing blemishes or anything like that, but just want to make sure that they are at least looking clean as can be. And then at that point, it's just a matter of rinse and repeat, going through each color, editing each color, adding the text to it, and saving that. And I'm working all within the same file. Basically, the workflow is get the image from each color and then copy that into one PSD file with the text and all the other colors in it, as you can see in the layers, and just go through it, edit the text as needed, and save it, and move on to the next one. And then so on my website, this is where we started out. You can kind of see that the colors aren't very consistently shot. The lighting is uneven. And when you're trying to choose between colors, uneven lighting does not really help you out. And so I think in the end, these are a big improvement. These ones that look like the pictures I just shot were kind of test shots I did before. Definitely proved the point, but in the end, they weren't done all at the same time. And so you can even see on the different products, they have the incorrect images or the incorrect products for the images. And now moving forward, you can see it's a much more consistent look between the pictures. I think there's still some work to do on the website. I want to get a carousel for the main image and not the thumbnails. If you use Shopify and know how to do that, please let me know down below. I could not figure it out. But yeah, I think this is much better. I think there's still a little bit of tweaking for the pictures to do. But I'm pretty happy with how they ended up. And yeah, thanks for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe if this was helpful, and I'll see you in the next video.